energy, good vibes.
I'm gonna be who I am.
We're going to be so famous from this.
No, I hope not.
All right. Well, welcome to Petty Talk. This is your host, Simon Petty, with your other host, Alex Petty. How's it going? It's been a long time.
It is. This is a good excuse to get together.
Yeah, because we don't see each other enough. We were both homeschooled, so we saw each other all the time. We went to the same university, got the same degree, and now we work at the same place, and we see each other just about every day. So that's why I decided, since we're not spending enough time together, that we should spend more time together.
Brotherly love.
So that's why we're here. And we're going to talk about things. And so that's why it's Petty Talk.
Why'd you want to do a podcast? This was his idea.
I just feel...
I blame you.
I just feel like my voice isn't being heard.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm really special. And
it's true.
And I just need to be heard. It's for me. It's not for anyone else. It's for me.
And the likes.
And yeah, and the gram.
The grams?
No, just the gram. It used to be for the Vine, but it's not anymore. All right. So, I think we're going to introduce each other. So this is my brother, Alexander Petty. And let me just read off a little bit about him.
Oh, no. He was attacked by a garden hoe by his younger brother.
And that's not
years
a
ago.
Female attendant.
Stitches.
Anyways, so here we go. So Alexander has a bachelor's. Huh?
Go ahead. So do you.
Of art in music composition, and he holds a master's in art from the American Military University. He is a card flourisher, a lifelong martial artist, and archivist of martial arts. He's done some work at the Botanical Research Institute of Texas. He was a chemical, biological, radiation warehouse technician. Yeah, that's what I'm reading. It's off your Wikipedia. He has tutored, English at local colleges at the college level. He's a piano teacher with over 40 students. He's an entrepreneur, the founder of Ravenwood Academy, and many other things. He's also, top 2 of my favorite brothers ever. So let's get a round of applause, which we'll edit in.
Woo, yeah, woo.
Which means you didn't have to do that.
We'll edit that out, though.
Alexander, everyone.
This is my brother, Simon. And Simon plays the piano. Now moving on to our interesting...
Wait. I mean, I do.
Very well.
Wait a minute. I mean, I do, but,
Very well.
I do there's layers.
To this player?
I do other things. I, been told I have a great smile.
It's true. Got the Tiger Woods smile. Not in a cheating, conniving way either.
Well, we're still in the same boat either way. I like to take long walks in the evening.
Do you really?
I do. I go to really nice neighborhoods, though. And
pull
act
up,
like I'm
you
supposed to
pull
be
up.
there.
No, I like walking.
I mean, I play with
relaxing.
both hands. Like a lot of notes.
Really fast.
Really fast. Like, really fast. Like, I play really well.
You do.
And I play church music and jazz.
Basically, if someone was local, what would be the best venue to go see you at? Lily's?
Yeah, Lily's Bistro. off of Magnolia.
Shout out, represent Mr. Vance.
Holla.
Yeah, if you want to go hear Simon play local, hit him up when he's at Lily's. Awesome.
And I'm also a host of a podcast.
Hey, I think there'll be a lot I can say about Simon as the episodes unfold, but we have to leave you as the host of, as basically the main host of the show. We have to leave you shrouded in a little bit of mystery.
Ooh.
I'll edit in some
It's all for the appeal.
creepy music. Mystery. Yeah. So,
To be continued.
to be continued.
We'll think of some other things that I do.
Like jujitsu.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He can grapple.
I don't do that well, but I do it. All right. So for our first topic, we're going to talk about how I have left my church position of almost 6 years.
Wow.
Which, if you don't know about church music and church positions, that's about twice as long as the average church position life.
Probably 3 times. I mean, wouldn't you say?
No, I would say it's about twice as long because
I,
that's what I did.
That's what you just said. It's very interesting because I mean, unless you're hip to that scene, maybe even like people go to church and they don't know, but I think the last time I went was when I subbed for
Mrs. Bev, yeah.
yes. He called me up and he was like, "Hey, our organist broke her hand," and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
It was like 1 week before the Christmas cantata too.
She's the sweetest, nicest person you'll ever meet too.
Mm-hmm. Unless she's mad at you.
Uh-oh. Well, yeah, that was the last time I went. But sadly, and I fit right in because church musicians are notorious for. What do you want to say? For a
lot of things.
Yeah, maybe for not being able to read music to a high level. I don't know. And again, it's not necessarily true for every single musician ever in the United States or the world.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different churches too.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things.
It's a rough business.
It's probably because volunteers end up a lot in those positions and they're not paid. They're not getting a lot of time to set aside to practice, to work on a lot of stuff. So it ends up being kind of chaotic at times.
Yeah. So I was there for 5 years, 10 months. It felt like 10 years. But yeah, it was the first gig I ever had outside of church, or outside of, that was the first gig I had outside of college, I should say. So I graduated college. I was doing an internship at a church, and then I got into that church. And the funny thing was, did I ever tell you about how I auditioned for it? And they were like, "Hey, play us a hymn." And I didn't know any. And they're like, "Okay, play me any church song." And I was like, "I don't know how to play church songs. I mean, if you give me a piece of music, I will."
Right. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Simon can play really, really well. And so...
Really fast.
He's not, so he might not be knowledgeable to that particular genre, but then that's where the guy who was auditioning you for the church pianist or whatever, that's where he made a smart move because he saw you play and it didn't. Some people would have freaked out and been like, "What? You can't play hymns? Well, you need to get the beep out of here."
But they would have done it like,
get the helicopter out of here.
It would have been like, "Good night."
Yeah, that's right. All the fake swearing.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, oh my stars.
Man.
Dude, there's like a whole culture in the South of like people who want to swear, but they can't because they're religious.
So they
have to make up other words.
Like one time my music minister got super mad and he was like, something sweet cranberries or something like that. I was like,
Slippin', rippin', dang thing.
I was like, dude, just swear already. Like, no one can take you seriously if you're saying something about cranberries.
I'll tell you who this was later on. But there was a guy who he didn't want. He would get mad. He would call women. This is so awful.
Who is it?
He would call
What's
them.
the first name? Oh
He
no.
would call. It was so bad. He would call women instead of saying the traditional swear word. He would call women heifers.
Heifers?
Yes. It's like you couldn't. I mean, just he would get mad. And he would call them that. I have no idea. It's like somehow calling a woman a dog is forbidden, but if you call him a cow, it's okay.
By the way,
The most southern
last
thing I
we've
can
known
imagine.
him, happily married.
Oh, he is.
So there's someone for everybody out there.
He is happily married. Yes. But anyway, yeah. So the guy, the people auditioning you though for that position, they were smart enough to not be rigid and locked in their ways, and I think they could tell from your skill level, like, oh well, we'll just put whatever in front of this kid, and he'll. And I say kid, I mean, how old were you?
23, just turned 23.
Woo.
I had hair. There was a twinkle in my eye.
Your spirit hadn't yet been crushed by the world.
I was like, now I'm gonna make it. I have a music degree.
Oh, you poor sweet summer child.
So yeah, he saw the musicality in me. But what happened was, I don't know if I told you this, I got hired for the position, and when I showed up for the gig, I auditioned for piano and I got accepted. And then when I showed up, they're like, actually, the pastor hired. He was a music minister, but he was like, actually, the pastor hired someone else for your position.
Oh snap!
But you can play keys on it. You can just be like the background keyboardist.
Oh, and thus began the rivalry of the ages.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that. The Ballad of Woody. But we'll get into that in a second. But
because there were people there who did not like, I was gonna say what you were doing, but I guess I should just say.
well, they don't like anything.
There you go.
But yeah, so there was me, a pianist, and an organ player. So there was 3 keyboards happening all at the same time.
That's a lot.
It was way too much. Like, it was just everybody was playing everything, and it wasn't even well done, It was just like, all right, we're all going to play How Firm a Foundation, and everybody was playing every part as loud as they could. Funny thing, though, when that music minister left, we had another music minister in. His name was David, and we'll have to talk about him sometime. He was interesting.
I forgot this was under a different person.
Yeah. I played for 6 months with my keyboard unplugged.
What?
Yeah. So I'd be like, yeah, I don't hear anything. And they're like, don't worry, we'll get you, we'll turn on the board when the music's playing. But they never did. And so for 6 months, we could be playing a song in the key of C, and then I could do a D flat major scale in the middle of the song, and nobody knew because none of the keyboard was on.
Schoenberg would have known. And was someone doing that to you on purpose, or was it just?
Yeah. So the music,
Oh my
the
god.
music engineer.
Petty politics.
You don't have to use that word.
Petty insults.
No, the other word.
Petty taunts.
What did our people do to,
Get called petty?
Yeah.
I don't
If
know.
there's a Smith doing Smith stuff or a Taylor doing Taylor stuff, and then Petty, was just some jerk that just couldn't let things go. He's just so petty. That's just him being petty over
There
there.
goes Mr. Petty.
I bet he's got some petty cash on him. And I don't know.
So who the game's afoot, Watson?
Yeah. So
Who
the
was
music,
doing this?
The music minister was in cahoots with the sound guy, and so he didn't want me there. He was the guy that fired me first.
Why didn't he? Well, but
I've been fired several times.
He couldn't actually fire you though. But
No.
why didn't he want you there?
Because he was a pianist, and so he was trying to play all the time too. And there was one point where he wanted to play piano and conduct from the piano to the congregation, but it's not really what you're supposed to be doing. It was really interesting. So yeah, so for 6 months, I'm just like, what am I doing? We'll have a whole conversation.
Well, you
about
were
this
getting
dude.
paid.
But I
It's-
really needed the money.
It's like when they asked the Chewbacca actor what he thought about the Star Wars Christmas special. And he said the check cleared.
Yeah, and that dude is like, nobody knows who he is. I would have
It's
done
anonymous.
it. Yeah, it's not, that dude could walk. That dude could become a mailman, and I wouldn't know who he was. It's not like, oh my gosh, if Harrison Ford started like delivering my mail, I'd be like, oh my gosh, right? But if it's the actor from Chewbacca, then all that. So, anyways, the interesting thing is I'm the second longest serving minister or person on staff there. Because it's like we've had a new music minister twice, we've had a new pastor, new assistant pastor, new everything.
And you've just been playing piano there, playing for them while they sing, playing specials, playing standalone stuff, playing the Christmas, the Christ's Mass.
Dude.
The Mass of Christ. But it's not a Catholic church, so you can't call it Christ's Mass.
No.
Just Christmas.
Just Christmas.
What?
Dude, the worst is the sunrise services that they would have. So every
That's
year,
too early for
if
me,
you're
folks.
if you're not hip to like the Baptist thing about sunrise services, I guess it's from like Jesus raising from the dead at dawn or something like that. Something happened at dawn. I don't know if it's when he actually died or when something happened.
And on the third day.
Yeah, and so we'd have them outside so that way you can see the sunlight, and but by the time that the pastors are like wrapping up, so you do the service and it's not even light out.
The service starts at basically like 7 o'clock.
Oh, but way before that.
Oh my
Whatever.
gosh.
Yeah.
This was a bad idea. Whoever came up with that, he was probably kicked out.
He's not going to heaven.
And whatever time it starts,
you have to try and sync it up.
You have to be earlier. So if you're a worker there, or if you're setting up the music stuff.
Oh yeah.
So like if it starts at 6, you have to be there at 5:30 or whatever it was.
Right, and it's just like, man.
Well, probably earlier.
That's just not the way to spend a holiday. And it would be freezing.
It's not the Jedi way.
You'd be freezing, and then you would be chasing music because the music, obviously, it would be super windy just because we're outside. And if we weren't outside, it wouldn't be windy because that's just how it is.
And people don't, this will be interesting because, obviously we have a big background in music. That's one of our, I guess, specialties, but
I play piano.
he does very fast. But, so I feel like we'll be able to shed a lot of things you wouldn't even think of to a lay person. And one of those things is you just don't understand. What you don't understand is, what they don't appreciate is, it's once you move music outside, there's just so many things that are bad about that. Or I can go, it's like, oh, why don't they have it? It can rain and get all over your instruments. Acoustics, so like buildings are designed to funnel the sound right way. Whereas if you're up under the blue dome,
Oh, just everything. I mean, the power, something happens and like all the power goes out from your instruments.
One time we were doing a ski trip to Colorado with our band, and we were in band. We were in a band in high school, and we were playing outside in the cold, basically. So like, if it
was snowing,
if your horn gets too cold, so like the temperature, how do I say this? The temperature of the horns affect the pitch of the music.
Yeah.
So they can go flat or they can go sharp based on temperature.
Because it shrinks or spreads the metal.
Or the wood.
Yeah.
It expands or contracts based on the temperature. So, yeah, it was but yeah, so music outside is just,
it's the worst.
There's all sorts of complications, basically.
It's the worst. And nobody likes going to that service except if you're over 60.
The sunrise service?
Yeah.
But what I love is there's always these music videos where, like, it's like, this lone rock in the middle of an ocean, and the guy who's doing an album is on the piano and he's just playing out there.
Oh, dude.
There's no gold poop anywhere.
Right.
It's like all pristine.
It always,
Or like,
you can hear every single note.
you know, the girl with the violin is like dancing in the forest.
In the middle of the woods. There's no like birds going, ah!
They're going to have to call in a Canadian Ranger Rescue Chopper to find all
I
those
wonder how
people.
many musicians have died just recording albums in the
They
forest.
get done and then they're like, help!
Yeah, but there's always another indie band. You know, you cut one head off and two
Where?
more grow.
Hail Hydra. Where are we?
So anyways, it was always a disaster. And so what they started doing, and it was at one of them, it was below 60 and it was like freezing. And, you know, you're talking about like, anyways. So now what they started doing was having it inside with the lights on. A sunrise service inside. And they don't even have like the decency to like slowly raise the lights, you know, or have like a video of the sun coming up or anything. It's just an extra early service that you have to do on Easter.
That is probably one of the most old people things I've ever heard of. And
No,
actually,
there's one even better than that as far as like
I love
Christian.
old people, and I love talking to them, and I love the value, the elders, and the culture and thing. But you know that they're up anyways
No,
at that time in the morning.
I'm at that interesting age in life where I hate old people and young people.
Yes.
So there's a thing at my church where they go to this Luby's,
Yes.
and there's a Southern Gospel
Yes.
Luby's
No.
performance,
No.
and I'm sure it's at 4. It's got to be. There's no other time that you can, by law, have a Southern Gospel sing along at Luby's. So you can get your chicken fried steak, the green.
The fried okra.
The
okra?
green okras and
Ugh.
I don't know. It's just the red Jello because that's the best.
For those of you who don't know, Luby's is this cafeteria, which I want to say is mainly in Texas, but I guess maybe it's probably along the South, but it's like a Southern cafeteria. I think it's the king of old people restaurants.
Yeah, because everything's like soft enough to chew.
Oh my god!
It's not too hard on your innards. I mean, it'll kill you young.
Man, when's the last time you went to a Luby's? Well, not fun fact, sorry, but interesting historical note. There was a Luby's shooting maybe 40 or 50 years ago in the 60s or 70s, an era you don't normally associate with that. But there was a guy who like plowed his car through the through the Luby's and started wrecking chaos.
Really?
Yeah. Really, really weird, really
Against
horrible.
like all the World War II vets that were there? They didn't have their M16s?
Sadly, no. But I mean, he was eventually stopped, I think, by law enforcement. It was just a bizarre case.
He drive in there with his car. Ooh. Just smash
Well,
it.
it wasn't like 1920.
We're at the age, anything before 1980 is like, awooga. He had to like start up the car, you know, crank it up.
Yeah, it was a weird story. But anyway, yeah, Luby's is, I can't believe that.
Yeah. I kind of want to go.
But it's a sing-along. It's not just a performance, it's a sing-along.
Of course. Got to do that and clap on 1 and 3.
I'll bring my lighter. Hold it above my head. Neighbor to neighbor.
And then they start singing, I saw the light. I saw the light.
I
Saw the light. Oh my gosh. That's, yeah. So anyways.
I really hope someone, wherever you go, there's always these interesting niches of culture. And I really hope someone is documenting church culture in the South, because
it's a whole way of life.
well, it's a whole way of life. There's all this terminology. There's all these little like activities and etc. that are just like, oh yeah, that's Sunday morning service, whatever. But also too, it's kind of I feel like we just had the last generation. I feel like with the internet and everything's gonna change. I mean, like there'll still be those churches, but like all the activities and all like the lingo, and I think there'll be a lot of change.
But they're just changing it to their own culture now. Now it's the whole Abba, Father, God,
get plugged in 360.
Right. Have a church, because it used to be like the longer the church name, the more prestigious it was. First Baptist Church of Our Father in Heaven of Greater Dallas and Lesser Fort Worth.
Now it's just called The Hub.
The Hill.
Do you want to come with me to the hill? Hey, are you trying to trick me?
Don't die on every hill.
Are you trying to trick me to go to church with you?
Because he died for you.
Oh, man.
The Echo.
Made with tables made with repurposed wood.
Crossroads.
Mason jars on every table. Yeah, the culture is changing, so I hope someone documents all that before that disappears. So
I left.
Leaving your position, man.
Yeah.
Why did you? Oh wait, well, we gonna save that for next time, maybe.
We're just introducing
that he was there, like
there's
Brian
gonna
Williams.
be I was there.
I was there.
So yeah, there's gonna be all sorts of juicy, never before seen exclusive tips.
You heard it here first, folks. Petty talk.
I've got so much to talk about, and I'm glad I'm here to talk about it with you.
Oh,
all right.
Hi, neighbor.
We're moving along. So, if there's anything that you know about Alex,
oh no, I didn't do it.
This dude reads like books and stuff, and he's got 200% more degrees than I do.
I like big books, and I cannot lie.
So he's always telling me like these interesting facts. And there's two interesting things about that. One is like, wow, my brother's really smart, and that's cool, and it's great. And then two, I never can remember them. And so sometimes he can tell me the same one twice in a row. And it's, again, 200% times 200%, 2 times.
Always. No, never.
My degree is in music. So, one of the things he always talks about is edamame.
I think you mean
It's delicious.
etymology.
He also talks about etymology as well.
Not to be confused with entomology, which I think you asked me to talk about, and I said I don't know anything about bugs.
Well, it always bugs me about how much more he knows.
Oh,
See that segue?
smooth
So-
operator. Oh.
That secret agent man, that's that song. Because Smooth Operator is one of those songs, like the same kind of vein. There's that secret agent man. One of our music teacher back in the day, she thought it was Secret Asian Man. And she told that to
Before appropriation was a thing.
And she told that to my half Japanese father.
And he was.
Yeah, 50% of him was very amused. So, what do you got for us today? By the way, this apple juice is really good. It burns just good, but it's super smooth.
All right. Interesting etymology. Etymology, I guess, for a kind of informal definition or explanation is the origin story of words, the history of how a word came into being. Sometimes it's a very kind of simple and not very interesting. Other times it's a crazy involved story with a lot of history, a lot of interesting twists and turns.
All right. So what is it? This is why I don't read.
This is why I never get to talk to anyone. Their eyes start to glaze over after 2 sentences.
Just get to the juicy bits. See, I'm interested in history, but not enough to get an advanced degree in it. I just wanted you to tell me all the interesting things about it.
And there, yeah, you want
I'm a typical American. I don't want to know
Yeah,
dates.
I know. We don't want to leaf through books and read all. We want the aha moment. But yes, I call etymology the stories we tell with a single word.
Wow, that's Instagram in a nutshell.
Hashtag, you can't judge me unless you know me. All right.
You
so
need that when you're taking a photo of just your legs at the beach.
That's right.
The stories. What did you say? The stories.
The stories we tell with a single word, because some of these words have so many histories, feuds, etc. Well, I'm going to do this backwards. I'm not going to start with the word. I'm going to start with the story behind the word. And if you can guess what the word is by the end of this, then there you go. You will have won a free invisible cookie. So I'll be doing this kind of each episode, I think. And
Can I just blurt out my answer?
No. Well, I think this one you already know.
Jazz.
Yeah. But I'll in the future I'm going to keep you in the dark on these, and like I said.
Yeah, but I already forgot what it was.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Well, if you can guess it. Sometimes they'll be really obvious. I think those listening will be able to guess what's coming. Other times, unless you've read some Greek or whatever, maybe you won't know them. I don't know, but surprise me. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, here we go.
It's the longest intro ever. But that's our segment that we're doing.
I should have silenced this. I apologize.
William would have silenced his phone.
There is a third brother.
Somewhere. He's actually successful.
All right. Well, enough about him. Here we go.
Okay.
So, the ancient Greeks, you go back maybe 2,500 years. They're sitting around the campfire telling stories. Maybe you're getting ready to hear the Odyssey or the Iliad, something like that. But instead, they tell you the story about Theseus, the first king of Athens.
Is this a real dude?
People don't really know.
Okay.
To them, this would be a story 1,000 years before them.
Oh, really?
So this is an old story way before their own time. This is like campfire legend by this point. There's an island, the island of Crete, right by Athens, right by Greece. And basically in this old story, Theseus is sent as tribute to the king of Crete. And basically, Athens at this point was under Crete's thumb. Crete demanded 7 young men and women to be sacrificed to the Minotaur.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. That's a little different than I thought.
Well, the thing is, so obviously, okay, you think mythology, right? Well, we're going to get into that. Theseus goes over there to be sacrificed to the Minotaur.
And the Minotaur is the half bull.
Half bull, half man.
Which half
wandering
is
around in the labyrinth.
Is the head, right?
Yes,
Is the bull?
the top half.
That's some bull.
And, these basically this party of 7 men and women are going to be killed and sacrificed because the king of Crete was wronged, etc. I won't get into the nitty gritty.
Now, does the Minotaur just kill them, or does it eat them, or does it throw them in a pit?
I don't know. It definitely kills them in this labyrinth.
Okay.
Well, Theseus is going to get some help, some inside help from a woman who falls in love with him.
Ooh.
Yes. And
is it one of the 7 girls that goes with him?
No, it's actually the king's. I believe it's the king of Crete's daughter. It's been so long since I've read the story.
It's always that way.
I know. Well, but this was before it was cool, before it was old. Anyway, this woman falls in love with him. As the story, the myth goes, the woman falls in love with him. She gives him a ball of string, a ball of yarn, to wind his way through the labyrinth because he has to kill the Minotaur and then find his way out again. So he goes.
She just gives him. Her big help is a ball of yarn.
Well, he also snuck his sword.
That she got from Hobby Lobby?
Right. She also snuck his sword in there.
Oh, okay.
Well, he snuck his sword in there. Anyway.
So really, she only gave him a ball of yarn?
Basically, yes.
Oh, my gosh.
So she's
That's
like,
women helping you.
She's like, here you go. Good luck.
Love you.
Stay. Felt cute. Might unravel later. Anyway, so he ties and I'm sure many of you heard the story, but we'll see if you can guess the word coming out of the story that we still use to this day. She gives him the ball of string. He ties it to the entrance. He winds his way through the labyrinth. I believe she also gives him some tips, some direction. He finds the Minotaur. A struggle, a battle ensues. And, of course, this would be high entertainment at your campfire, the story. This is...
Some old guys telling this
Yeah,
story,
they couldn't
too.
watch Avengers, obviously, on the big screen, so they had to...
It's like that guy who's not useful for anything anymore.
The
but
bard.
You keep him around.
The old bard.
Oh, yeah. A tale.
That's right. Sometimes a blind bard.
That would be me, though. The musician.
It's true. So he kills the Minotaur, then is able to follow the string, the yarn, back out. And of course, all is right for then. The story keeps going, etc. But for that brief episode, he survives, etc. Right?
Is the word knitting?
No. I will say, though, here's the word that comes from this story. In the 1300s, Chaucer is going to be writing and alluding to this, and authors, 1300s, 14s, 15s, 1600s, 1700s, as we kind of get closer to our time, they're going to be referring back to the story about how you need this figurative ball of yarn to wind your way through a maze, through a labyrinth. And back then, in Old English, I kid you not, a ball of yarn was called a clue. K. No, not sorry. K, not K. C.
Not K?
Yeah, C. I had a dyslexia moment. You understand. I had a C-L-U-E, or really C-L-E-W. A clue was the word for a ball of yarn. And it eventually turned into this word when you want something that will guide you through a labyrinth and act as a guiding force, keep you from going down wrong paths mentally, etc. When you're looking for something, to guide you to your destination, you say, I need a clue. Or they haven't got a clue.
Right.
They're wandering out.
They don't have someone that loves them enough to give them.
That's right. That ball of yarn. They're wandering around without a clue. So eventually that word dropped. It was used to refer to a ball of yarn. I'm not sure exactly when they stopped using it because I don't think we use that now. But now it just refers to a kind of hint, a kind of signifier that guides you.
Dang.
To unravel or discern something.
See, and you can take this and you can go to the next party that you go to.
There you go.
And you're going to be, man, you'll find a chick that'll give you a clue, if you know what I mean.
Oh, my. Well, here's the interesting thing. So this all takes place in the story. This all takes place on the island of Crete, right? So you've got what?
Oh, I just wondered if this was like a word popped up.
Oh, no. So this is...
Is it secrete?
No.
It's not the next...
You cretin. In the story, this takes place on the Isle of Crete, and which is, you'd have to sail from Athens down to get there. And if someone if you're studying this story, this mythology in the 1800s, and asked if it was true, someone might be like, your professor might be like, oh, no, this is just fiction, whatever it is. Okay. So Arthur Evans comes along, and he is going to, this was only maybe 150 years ago, he's going to go and dig up Crete. And what he finds...
Did you find the Minotaur?
He was killed by the Minotaur and never heard from again.
He didn't have a girl with a clue.
Oh my gosh. So I'll show you, now if you're watching at home, what I'll do is I'll put this picture up so you can see.
Let me see.
But on the island, you find stuff like this. Look at this coin.
Oh my gosh.
This coin has, so this is a coin that they found on Crete, and what does it have etched onto it?
It's got a clue.
No. It's got a labyrinth.
A labyrinth.
So there's this labyrinth etched onto this coin. They start digging. You should see Simon's face right now. They start digging and they find this palace with not one, not two, not three, 4 stories. And there's not a dozen rooms or 100 rooms or a few hundred rooms. There's 1,000 rooms,
No.
like a
Are you
labyrinth in
serious?
this palace. Yes. And they start brushing off things from the walls, and they find
String.
you're unbelievable.
They didn't have a clue?
They find images of bulls on the walls. Now, keep in mind, this was not a civilization that was around when ancient Greece was operating. So, whatever
This
images.
is pre-Greece.
Oh, yeah, whatever image you. Well, I mean, yeah, pre that ancient classical. So, 300, whatever images you have of classical Greece, which we might need to address some other time. This was literally 1,000 years ago to them, this culture. Like, if you went there, all this stuff would be deserted. So, Minoan. So, this culture on this island, we're talking literally maybe 5,000 years ago.
Which is like in biblical times, like Moses, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
right. It's hard.
Some give and take.
Yeah, there's debates on when and how that all that might have gone down. But anyway, so they disappear around 1400, 1700 BC.
I love that stuff where it's like whole civilizations. Just
No,
disappear.
around 1400, 1700 BC. I can't remember the exact dates because it's been so long since I'm not an expert on Minoan culture. This was Minos was the king, and the people on Crete. This is Minoan culture, and the palace. If you want to Google it, this is Knossos, Knossos.
We'll have a link in the description.
There
below.
you go. So this culture, disappeared around, I want to say 1400, 1500, 1600, 1700 BC, something like that. And no one really knows why. That's another weird thing. And they were, you want to, I think when something is that far back, you have the temptation to dismiss it. Like, well, they were just scratching around the dirt. But this was a complex city. Like I said, a palace with 1,000 rooms, several stories high. They had sewers. They had
sewers?
Yeah, they had like a sewage system. They had, all sorts of, I'll show you this too. They also found this.
Oh, man.
We're looking at this kind of like big, kind of earthen sculpture of the head of a bull. And also they found these double-headed axes hanging up all around the palace. And the word in that culture's language for axe was something like labrys or labyrin, something like that. Labrys, very similar to labyrinth. So Arthur Evans, who's digging this all up, he's like, does labyrinth mean city of the axe? Something like that. Is there this connection here? Some people have postulated, long ago, 1,000 years.
He's getting into it.
Well, I'm just saying more indigestion. My heart, tell me the time. 5,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, was there some sort of like bull worshipping cult where they were doing human sacrifice?
Oh.
And there are these old stories, maybe passed down from Greece, about how they used to have to send people to get offed.
Oh, yeah.
And thus the tale
Well, that reminds
of
me
the
of
Minotaur.
what, Baal in the Old Testament? Wasn't that dude? Was he a bull? I can't remember.
I think so. I can't remember.
But they did a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, some human
Some crazy
sacrifice.
stuff.
I mean, it happened.
I mean, in every culture, really.
Yeah. So but anyway, really interesting Minoan culture. If you want to Google that, or Isle of Crete, and just look back at some of their history, and they had several writing systems, and that's actually where Greece got their writing system. And
Cultural preparation.
that's right. And some of the majority of their writing systems still haven't been deciphered.
Really?
Yes, like they have no clue.
Do you think aliens built the labyrinth?
Aliens.
Just as a history
No.
expert. No?
Sorry.
But why do you think that?
Because it's easier to prove that people built them and than it is
I don't know. That was a long time ago.
Occam's razor.
They had sewers.
Yeah.
Sounds like an alien
Sewers,
thing.
a writing system you can't crack. Arthur Evans.
Yeah, that sounds like aliens.
That aliens, right? Arthur Evans is going to be giving this, who dug this all up, he's going to be giving this tour as an old man to these like.
Wait, he's around still?
No, this was back
Oh.
like, 100 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I thought
the
you said.
Edwardian age.
Yeah.
So but as an old man, after he dug all this stuff up, he's going to be giving this tour, and he's going to hold up these tablets with this. It's the names given to their writing system is Linear A and Linear B because they're made with these linear cuts.
Oh, okay.
It's very like straight and non-cursive like, and they're not hieroglyphs, so it's like linear.
Yeah, kind of like the old
Like
Norse
uniform
stuff.
Oh yeah, like runes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to look and see. Well, anyway, he's going to be
Just
holding.
trying to get my own like adding into the story, but I don't
doing great.
read.
You're doing great. He's going to be holding up these tablets, and a kid is going to say, Michael, I think it's Ventus. This kid is going to say, what does that say? And he's like, no one knows. We don't know. No one will ever know. And so Michael is basically going to say, challenge accepted. And he had learned several languages. He could learn, according to the stories, he could learn languages just like that, like in weeks. And he's going to be the first person to crack one of those scripts.
Now,
And
was he?
And he's going to like study furiously. And that's when he was 14. He first saw his tablets. By the time he's 18, he's publishing a journal article on what he thinks they say.
Really? So
Yeah.
the old
I
Arthur
think
dude,
Yeah.
he was rubbing in his face. You think?
I don't know exactly how the conversation went, but, they definitely, it was certainly a thing that no one could read them. And if a 14-year-old kid told you, well, I'm gonna look up and see what his name, Ventress. I was saying Ventus, I think. But anyway, if a 14-year-old kid told you he was gonna decipher those, you'd be like, sure you are, little Timmy. But the sad thing is, Michael Ventress would decipher one of these languages, and but he would die in a car crash just as it was getting published, and he never got a go at Linear A, at the other languages being dug up there. But he's the one who found out, hey, this is Greek. This is Greek's like grandfather. This is Greek's like father.
Have the other ones been deciphered?
No. There's this disc they dug up there with these really weird imprints and hieroglyphs. They have no idea what it says. And as you can imagine, I probably don't need to tell you, but it's a hard thing to decipher a language that far back.
What if it was just a recipe?
You joke, but the thing is, in some ways it's important because it's our human identity. In other ways, it's like you will decipher it, and it'll probably be the price of grain that year. It'll be a recording of a storm that happened this fall, whatever it was.
It's not aliens.
I
Like a story about being probed.
I don't think so, sir. And yeah, it's an interesting culture, interesting story.
Wow.
And so if you're listening to this as a 14-year-old kid and you want something to do, go crack those languages so we can learn a little bit more. But yeah, there's definitely some weird goings on with that culture and the history behind that word clue.
You know what? I was dating this young lady who couldn't write cursive because they stopped teaching it. Now, she was over 18, but they stopped like teaching cursive for a little bit, and she couldn't write in cursive. She was a secretary.
Oof. I think our grandkids will be able to get away with that, but I think for now, you need to learn how to write cursive.
Yeah, but they're gonna be like, yeah, cursive. It's the older way of writing in English. Over texting.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
It does look really different. And let's be honest, you can't read it. You can't read someone else's cursive.
Yeah,
It's really difficult
but
because everyone has their own way of doing it.
Right.
You know, there's a bunch of deaths because doctors scribble stuff and
you
people can't.
joking
No,
me?
no, no, no. There's some statistic that's outrageous. Look it up. It's really interesting. But there's lots of people who die because they can't read doctors' handwritings and they get like misscribed things.
It yeah, that
That's
could
another
I can see that happening.
fact that I don't have really under my.
But fortunately, there's enough to where if you had to like resurrect English or something, if someone else had, there's like so much source material. I mean, for now, I'm barring a nuclear war, but with that stuff, I feel so bad for the people working on that stuff. It's like, where do you begin? And they're so. If you study the Victorian age, you just have so many artifacts from that age.
Yeah.
But that stuff is it's so scarce. But the techniques they use for figuring out the terms and the languages are really interesting to me, at least. Like you know how if you've ever read, so most people will be familiar with this if like they've read the Bible or something. You read those proclamations where it's like King Ahab or King so-and-so, king over all the lands, king of kings, king over this province, king, king, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. That's the parts that we skip over.
Right. That's common that was happening in Egypt 1,000 years ago and all sorts of different places. Like that was a common opening. Like you kind of describe this king for lines and lines and lines. So what you can do in an ancient world text, if you don't know what it says, you can look up. It's important. It's a royal proclamation. You can look and see what the most common used word is for the first few lines, and it's probably king.
Whoa.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like already you have like a clue of maybe a sound or maybe what a certain hieroglyph is, etc. Smarter people than me come up with that stuff.
That's so much work.
Yeah, but it'd be even worse to like be a modern code breaker, because that stuff is like intentionally made difficult and hidden.
Yeah, or you could just make up stuff for a living, like I do.
Jazz.
I play piano.
Really fast.
Our next section, or next segment. See, I can't even do English.
Fire this host.
Is current events.
Interesting news.
That's Newsflash.
All right, we need some news music.
We'll edit that in.
All right, in recent news, woman swallows engagement ring in sleep, thinking it was all a dream. I popped that sucker off, put it in my mouth, and swallowed it with a glass of water, Jenna Evans recalled of her sleepwalking blunder. Here's one more reason not to go to bed on an empty stomach. A California woman who dreamed of swallowing her engagement ring says she woke up to discover it had actually happened, leaving her in need of an emergency medical procedure to extract the sparkly morsel. This happened recently. She was sleepwalking.
Florida?
San Diego. Happened this month. She was sleepwalking when she said she swallowed her 2.4 carat diamond.
Ooh.
After dreaming that she was on a
2.4
yes,
carats?
Yeah.
Dang.
Definitely didn't marry someone with a music degree. She swallowed her 2.4 carat diamond after dreaming that she was on a high-speed train, and the only way to protect her ring from approaching bad guys was to swallow it.
No.
I have a lot of strange dreams, she told San Diego News. I'll bet you do. I'll bet you do, Miss Evans. But I think they were able to get it out.
Well, first off, let's just be clear. The fact that it is called a carrot is a little misleading. Like, I mean, that happens, you know?
Hey.
Like, what are you going to eat? I think I'll have 2.4 carrots.
In the words of Iggy Azalea, can't you taste this gold?
She said that?
Yep.
Oh,
I'm
man.
so fancy. Can't you taste this gold?
You know, you have onion rings, you have carrots.
Onion rings.
Dude, you know,
Oh.
if someone's really confused about things, see, why didn't she just wait?
The bad guys were coming. She had to get rid of it.
No. Why did she have to spend money to get the procedure?
Oh, okay. Let me see.
They just, you know,
Let's see.
wait 24 hours and
Well, you know, so she consulted with doctors and got X-rayed and X-rayed and etc. And she noticed in the morning that it was missing from her finger. By the way,
how many different things do you think she thought about before she was like, you know what? I think I actually did this. She's like, did I take it off? Did I leave it?
I don't know. But you know, if the shape is irregular enough, it could catch on something or snag or cut you, and especially even just the size. I mean,
yeah, 2 point. See, that's why it's good not to give a woman a big ring.
She
could have choked on it.
Think about the conversation starter material, though. See this ring? There's a story behind it.
No, see, next time I get married or next time I get engaged, I'm going to give a really small ring and I'll be like, it's for you.
It's edible.
As many times as you want.
Millennials are now making edible rings.
It'll be like that.
And that's a good thing.
What was that? Ring pop?
Ring pop! Yes! Ring pop. It's a lollipop without a stick.
Ring pop! Ring pop! It's a lollipop without a stick.
That was so stupid.
How do I still remember that jingle?
I don't know, dude. I can't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning.
Ring pop. It's a lollipop without a stick.
Are you serious? That's the jingle?
I'm dead serious. I remember it.
Dude.
That was their thing, too.
Because I play piano, and if I had a memory like yours, I'd know every single song in the world.
I don't.
Dude,
I
yeah,
don't know.
maybe it was a ring pop. Maybe it wasn't an actual ring.
You know that song? This diamond ring doesn't shine for me anymore.
Yeah, because this diamond ring.
Don't
See, that's the. I can't
sing.
remember things. I
Let it
remember
shine for
chords.
you.
I remember chords well.
Somebody. Oh. So, yeah, maybe it was a ring pop. We'll never know. But that jingle, though, it's a lollipop without a stick. It's like, you know, Bob was supposed to work on the jingle all month. And then they came around. They're like, hey, Bob, you got that jingle? You come up with the tagline
Like,
yet?
oh, crap.
He goes, ring pop. It's a lollipop without a stick. And he's standing in front of corporate, and he's like spreading his hands like jazz hands. And they're like, I love it. Hire this man.
It's got everything. I mean, it describes it. It's got the name in it. That's so like if you had to give a presentation for class and you didn't read the book.
Oh, man.
Ring pop. Do you got another one, or is that it?
A few more.
Yeah,
There's
that's
always
two.
more news.
Yeah. There's a lot happening in this world. We have too many people.
In recent news, I can't get over the ring pop. Putting Christmas decorations up early can make you happier, psychologists say. If you're already yearning to get your tree out of storage and stock up on mince pies, then there's good news. The most Christmas-obsessed people among us will always be counting down the days. And it turns out there might be genuine psychological benefits to savoring a few extra weeks of Christmas fun. Psychoanalyst.
That's the news?
Yes. Psychoanalyst Steve McEwen says, although there could be a
Made-up
number
name.
of symptomatic reasons why someone would want to obsessively put up decorations early, most commonly for nostalgic reasons, either to relive the magic or to compensate for past neglect. Whoa.
Jeez. That got dark.
Decorations are simply an anchor or pathway to those old childhood magical emotions of excitement. But it's not. I'm not seeing what the.
Okay.
I'm not seeing what the benefits are. They're saying, it might be a good thing, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I think Big Christmas wanted to write this. This
We're not
Big
sponsored
Pharma.
by Christmas. Santa didn't sponsor
Not
us.
yet.
Sponsor us.
Let's just say we always get on the good list. But okay, I have a confession. I've lived in my house for 2 Christmases, and I buy real trees, and I still have both trees.
No.
Yeah,
What on earth? Where are they?
they're out back.
Oh my gosh.
I love Christmas.
What? No.
and I just heard about an article that it's really good for you. You'll be happy
Uh-huh.
if
You put them up early, so you just figured, hey,
just
all
all year round. And so, whenever I'm outside, I think about Buddy the Elf and treating every day like Christmas. Reminds you to be good.
First
Yeah,
of all,
they're not looking good.
if
Probably some kind of violation.
oh my gosh,
I feel bad.
gee,
That doesn't get you on the naughty list, does it?
neglect.
They were dead. To be fair, they were dead when I got them.
It's like Christmas police, get down the ground. Failure to properly dispose of Christmas tree.
They're not evergreen.
What do you mean they
Let's
were
just
dead
say
when
that.
you got them?
Because they had their roots cut off.
Oh, I
They're
thought you
just-
meant like
You have
brown
a
and
dying,
withered.
decaying tree. It's kind of morbid.
So it's worse than the Charlie Brown tree. They're
At
both.
this point, yes.
Gee.
I mean,
Mom's gonna get on you about this. Are you listening? Are you out there, Mom?
oh, I bet.
You busted.
Dude.
Someone's in trouble.
I know we're gonna have this conversation next time I go over.
She's gonna go, what? You didn't put out. You...
That's what I love about it too. We're, generally well put together people, but that's gonna come up.
I feel like everyone's different, but for me, I feel like it's time to let go.
No.
Talk to your doctor about letting go. Maybe if you have someone in your life who won't let go of the Christmas trees. I feel like December 1st, things need to go up. Maybe if you have family visiting for Thanksgiving, put it up like the day after. Maybe the day after Thanksgiving. But any earlier than that, no.
What about after? Okay,
I think,
on my behalf.
Okay, well, you got to have it for New Year's Day because, like, you wake up and it's the new year. I think it's okay.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Well, because your New Year's party, I think, like, still having the Christmas tree and the lights and stuff.
I'm done on the 26th.
Apparently not. You hypocrite. Oh, I'm done on the
No, what
26th. I just happen to have 2017's
Okay.
Christmas tree in my backyard.
Dude, that's crazy.
2017's
That was
Christmas
a good
tree.
year. 2018, not so much. But no, what happened was I didn't get the. I missed the
How many times?
twice. Obviously, I missed the the thing.
pickup.
Yeah, the pickup date, and so, which I should have just assumed because you see a bunch of Christmas trees on the side of the road.
They all congregating. Christmas tree gang.
All making a run for it. No, I mean, they bring
No,
me
I
joy.
don't.
They bring me joy. And psychologically, I think I'm better for it. Science. You can't argue with science. Got one more?
Sure.
Let's do one more. Then we're going to get to emails.
Oh, boy. All right. In recent news, butcher-bound yak on the... Butcher-bound yak on the run after Virginia escape. An animal control officer responding to a report of escaped livestock in a Virginia road discovered an unexpected animal, a yak. They didn't say anything about that, she told the news. The yak escaped the area and fled into the mountains.
Like it killed someone.
It gored someone and it had to. I gotta leave this
He
life
was on
behind.
death row.
It kissed its little yak
fled.
children goodbye. I can't stay. I can't stay here no more.
Yakety yak, and there we went.
The yak escaped the area
Wait,
and
a
fled
yak?
into the mountains. Wright learned the animal named Meteor. That's right, a yak named Meteor.
You mean the shooting star? He's the star in
Baby
our
on a
hearts.
firework. Had been traveling on a trailer from a Buckingham farm to a butcher when he made a run for it. I think this thing made a break for it and took off, Wright said. Meteor was spotted Wednesday around the Orchard House bed and breakfast. But left the area before authorities arrived.
He's like that meteor you only see every 7 years. You're gonna be like walking around, and he's gonna be shooting across.
Galloping.
Wait,
with his
okay,
hair
so
going free.
go back to the beginning. I have a few questions about this one.
So he was being transported from a Buckingham farm
That's
to a
not the
butcher.
beginning, sir.
Why?
First off, let's just talk about the animal control officer.
They responded.
Why would you want to be? Is there anyone out there who grows up wanting to be an animal control officer, or you just make bad decisions? Because every day is just like, all right, here, let's go get this. This Rottweiler that's bit 3 children.
But they have the tools. Bzzz.
Yeah, but you're having to track down something that nobody wants to deal with.
And this tool is contraband, save in the great state of Texas.
Dude, and that's, you're dealing with snakes or yaks. First off, what is a yak, really? I think it's just a confused llama, if we're just being real.
Or like a Asian bull, I don't know.
An Asian bull, a water buffalo creature.
Yeah, I mean, it's got horns, I believe.
Doesn't a rhino have, like, what are we doing? Do people eat yaks? It's being
I've eaten
butchered.
a yam that's pretty close, only 1 letter away.
Damn,
No yam.
no bull.
Wait, we got to keep it PG. We'll edit that out later.
What?
All right. Well, never mind. You were talking about a wall that holds water. Okay. Yeah. See,
Yeah,
look at
'cause
those.
that's
Look at
where I
that.
would
That's
go.
a pretty formidable. I'll put a picture up here for y'all viewing at home. That's a pretty formidable looking animal. I could take you out in a heartbeat. I don't care how much you bench press.
I would eat that.
Your question about I'm sure it's tough, but I'm sure if you cooked it right, it'd be okay. I mean, it was going to a butcher's shop, so people do eat them. But your question about the animal control is really interesting. I'd be interested to see
Like, how do you get into
what's
that?
the training? Yeah, like how long of a certificate do you need? If any of our callers are listening who have animal control experience, y'all can just call in right now.
555
Myself. And then also too, like, how much do you get paid?
Well, it's not like one of those things where it's like, oh, I love animals.
I'm gonna go wrangle up.
I'm gonna go make sure this bear gets out of someone's yard. I just don't know.
Crikey, a bear.
I mean, granted, I'm a jazz pianist, so
Well, and another thing would be
it's a lot of bad life decisions that you have to make to get into that. Playing the devil's music, but what state was this in?
let's see.
Now this one, don't tell me it's got to be something southern, because I don't see a yak being in Florida. Florida's always the number one guess.
Virginia.
Virginia.
This happened just a week or two ago, and he's still on the loose. But yeah, the animal control thing, I'm wondering if you're just like sitting around an office waiting for a call. Who are you going to call?
Animal Patrol.
Or, I guess you have like paperwork and stuff to file. And imagine the kennel they must have, like all sorts of like exotic and weird creatures. I remember one time I don't know, you might remember this. Remember when they found down at the bike trail, the Trinity, they found like a full-blown gator.
Dude, why isn't that extinct?
I'm talking about like a local park.
That we used to go to
Yeah.
as children.
Basically,
Thanks, Mom.
Kellis Park, if you're a local and you know where that is. But yeah, like a full-size gator. They had like a picture of them like pulling it out of the water, and I was all horrified. Like,
Didn't they have to
"Whoa!"
like drain the little pond
the pool to get
so
to
they
it?
could see where it is and all that?
I don't recall.
That's so crazy.
The only thing that tops that is
So
when
Texan.
I don't know if any of you remember, there used to be these billboards, these Chick-fil-A billboards. Well, maybe they still have them, but I haven't seen one in a long time. But they had actual cows mounted onto them, like
Yeah.
life-size cows. Well, actual cows. They had life-size statues, basically, of these cows, and the cows were like painting the billboard, as you drove by. That was like the
Right.
gag. Someone stole. This is like local urban legend. If any of our listeners are listening in and want to call, they know who did this.
Yeah,
Please
this
do.
is that
Comment
old
below.
817 news right there.
Oh, someone stole a cow off the billboard, and it was like big news, at least locally. And then after a few weeks, it turned up on the bike trail. It was just like sort of posed
In
there.
the middle of a bunch of cows.
Really?
Yeah. So
Creepy.
yeah.
It's
So
like
it
the
was,
mannequin.
It was in its
it be-
natural habitat.
It became self-aware.
Yeah, it was in that. Yeah, it was on the other side of that fence, and there's a bunch. There used to be a bunch of cows.
Yeah,
where
if you
Clear
s-
Fork is now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
If you search that, you can tell my historian background. I'm always telling people where to find the source. If you search like the Star Telegram archives, you can find. I'm sure there's like some articles and pictures.
Yeah.
Steals a cow. Well,
Wow.
some interesting things going on in the world.
Man,
I'm glad we looked at that.
I've
stuff.
learned so much. This really is more for me than it is for anybody else.
Yak attack.
And I feel like I'm finally ready to let go of the Christmas trees. Maybe.
This could be a good coping mechanism. Yeah, you just kind of wanted to do this for fun. There was no like end goal or anything. You just decided.
That's pretty much how I make all my life decisions. And obviously, it's turned out great.
Mother. No.
So, anyways, we have a an email that is pettytalkshow@gmail.com.
Yes. Email any questions you might have to pettytalkshow@gmail.com.
That's right. How long you been married? Uh-oh. Do you know?
Yes, I do. I'm just wondering why you're asking.
No, go
I'm
ahead.
waiting for the other shoe to drop. Almost 8 years,
8
man.
years.
Which is
Between the two of us, we have almost a decade of marriage experience
so close.
together. Almost 10 years of marriage.
Which it'll be cool because as soon as we hit 10 years, the very next day we'll be able to say over a decade.
Wow. It sounds even better when you say decade.
Well,
too.
but it's not. So it's relationship advice.
Oh, it's everything. Are you
Okay,
kidding
I
me?
was gonna say,
you
you
know how
don't-
smart we are? We-
debatable.
We have a man here who's been in a marriage for 8 years. He'll be able to tell you all the things that you need to do.
Or not do.
That's where I come in.
Oh man.
And so so we have that. Or so you can ask any question, as serious or as not serious as you like, about any topic. We will know the answer. And then also any question about us or the show or anything. So we got not a lot of questions. A lot of people out there thinking they know everything. A lot of people thinking that they don't have any questions about anything. But we did get one question. And we have a lot of smart people, a lot of smart viewers. This is not one of them.
Oh, ouch.
and it will be anonymous.
Wait, you can't ask for people to send in their questions and then insult them.
We need some. That's
Thanks
why
for
we
the
need
question.
your questions. Because this dude's a dummy. He's a straight up Muppet.
All right. Well, I will be the judge of whether, because I'm all for not insulting people, but sometimes people.
You
are just-
won't be after this.
Okay. Well, I have no idea.
And it'll be anonymous.
yeah,
So
of
we won't
course.
put you out there.
Of course, anonymous.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen this, so go ahead.
He wrote,
read aloud.
this person
or if
wrote-
you'd like.
"How did y'all meet?"
What? Did he know we were brothers?
Yes.
Was he joking?
I hope to God he was.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Oh, I was getting all ready to solve some sort of relationship problem. Like,
I
what you need
know.
to do, you need to have her realize that the fidget spinners are an investment. You know,
just like the Beanie Babies.
that's right, and the playing cards.
So how did we meet?
Well,
What's your earliest memory of me? Because I don't even remember meeting this guy, to be honest. We're a year and a half apart. Do you remember taking me home from the hospital, wrapping me up in swaddling clothes?
I have pretty early memories, like that old loft bed we used to have. Sitting around the breakfast table, I think. You at the piano. He's been playing piano for a long time.
You do it really well.
He slid out the womb right onto that piano bench.
I slid down the keys. It was just like a glissando.
Oh, man.
My earliest memory of you is probably like taking a bath. I barely remember taking a bath.
I keep it clean.
I'm Mr. Clean now. That's what I look like. I don't know. As stupid of a question as that is, we're
Provoked
not
some-
smart enough to answer it.
Provoked some thought. Yeah, we're going to have to pull out because there have been some interesting episodes and shenanigans in our childhood history. All these memories are flooding back. We're going to have to pull out some pictures. I'm
Oh,
talking
jeez.
things like wooden swords, getting attacked
By a hoe.
by being stabbed, basically, by
By
my
a
younger
hoe?
brother. At 2, Simon?
Dude, you can tell people you got attacked by a hoe. You got stabbed by a hoe.
It was a 3-pronged gardening hoe. And basically, Simon was just hoeing away, tilling up that land. And
Hoeing up.
he was all focused on the ground. I stuck out my hand to say, hey, bro, got me. My right hand, too.
Really? Do you still have a scar?
Yeah, of course. Look. Right there. You see that?
He does. I almost ended his piano career.
And then I have a scar. Look at, you can see the cut here from the stitches here. On the other side, you can see this here too.
Did it go all the way through your hand?
No, but I'm glad nothing more serious has happened. And then I think one of Simon's students was like, so have y'all ever had any rivalry? And Simon was like, well, no, basically just us against other people, not with each other. But now I can't help but wonder, because I just recently remembered something brought this memory back last week, that Simon shut my finger.
To be fair, there's been a lot of back and forth. I just can't think of anything.
That's right. Simon he slammed the car door. This was back when car doors were a lot heavier and stouter. It was a Delta 88. Now, that's a name I've not heard in a long time. But it was a Delta 88 Oldsmobile. He slammed the car door shut, and it shut. But my finger was in there. And that was my right hand, too, I think. He's been on a mission, basically, to sabotage my piano playing skills and my piano career.
And it worked.
It did, because I
That's
pursued
the only
other...
reason.
I
No,
pursued-
but and that was back in the day where you couldn't press a button to
Yeah,
unlock
you
the
couldn't
door.
just go whoop whoop. So our mom,
That was the sound I was making, seeing my piano career going up and his going down. I was like, whoop whoop.
whoop whoop. So whoop whoop. So our mom, who was already like walking in the store at this point. She turns around because I'm going,
All frantic. First, she
she-
has to go see what's happening.
And then she runs over to the other side because it was the passenger side. She runs around to the door side. And she's digging, trying to get her keys out of the purse.
That's right.
She's digging to get her keys out of the purse.
And the whole time I'm just staring.
He's staring in horror, and I'm like,
Did I do that to you, or did you do that to you?
why did you do that to you? I
How?
just see myself like with my finger, I'm like lining it up with my tongue slightly out of my mouth.
So I got out first. You were getting out. You still had your hand at the door,
Yeah,
and
I think I was sliding
What
out.
a jerk!
I think I was sliding out, and he shut the door. Shut the front door. So yeah, and my finger got trapped in there. But I think my mom we went to a restaurant and we got a drive-through or something and got a cup of ice, and mom just had me stick my finger in that cup of ice.
Dude, you know what? Another thing that would happen.
I still remember the pain on that one. That hurt.
Really?
Yes.
Do you remember how we'd take turns riding in the front? So
I already know what's coming.
it would be my day to ride all day.
We're probably literally how old?
I don't know.
I mean, old enough to not be in car seats, but
old enough to be excited about riding in the front seat of a car.
probably like literally 7
Sure.
years old or whatever.
Something like that. So I would take my turn, and then we'd ride. The next day, it was Alex's turn, and I would,
Or it was per trip.
yeah, something like that. And I would push Alex and make some kind of commotion.
I
and
would,
then
I, would, I would
push.
just be getting into the car door as usual, and all of a sudden Simon would run up and be like, "Ugh," and he would hit me with his shoulder and be like, "Hey, I can't."
And I would make so much commotion that it sounded like two different kids.
It's like it sounded like people were arguing.
Yeah, and mom would get so mad. She'd be like, "All right, both of you in the back of the car."
She goes, "If y'all are gonna argue about it, then you both get in the back." And I'd be like, "What?"
And then she'd be like, "I don't want to hear it." And so we'd both
But
have to get in
Mom.
that back. And then the next day would be my turn. And then the next time, that happened several times to where Alex didn't get his ride. So,
Well, that's not as bad as when I got my childhood dreams crushed. We were sitting around
which time?
which time? We were probably around the same age. And we were having dinner, which was like, we'd sit down and have the family dinner. And mom would make, usually she'd make the brownie in the pan,
Oh, the brownie.
Remember?
Straight out of the box. From scratch. From the box.
Sorry, mom. And
Good brownies, though.
good mom, good cook, but yeah, it was, etc. So,
That didn't sound very praising.
well, it was what it was. I'm sure she had a million things to do. She wasn't like gonna track down, truffles outside with a dog.
Yeah, but I feel like
and
every
mix
grandmother
truffles
used to
in there.
do that, and they had 9 kids.
Well, she wasn't a grandmother yet.
True.
So anyway, she would make the brownie, and one time I was like, and she's passing out, and I was like, no, thank you. And I said no to the brownie.
I remember this.
And then the next night, I love this. This is the logic of the child when we first begin noticing patterns and going,
And we would just try things
what
just
if
to
we
see
do-
how the world reacted.
yeah, touch something hot. What if I touch that shiny glowy thing? So then the next night, we eat dinner. The whole day goes by. We eat dinner. He's passing
And
out the brownie.
Alex's thought is, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy, oh
I
boy, oh
can't
boy,
wait
oh boy.
till dinner.
Boy, oh boy. And then she goes, and she's passing out the brownies. I go, and I get 2 because I didn't have one last night. And she goes, no. I couldn't believe it. She, of course, refused, which she wisely refused to give me 2 brownies. And I was like, what? No. And that, like, the memory of that lost brownie haunts me to this day.
You know that marshmallow test, that study
Yeah, where they delayed gratification.
is like now.
passed,
I'm
but I
surprised
failed
you're
at
not
the
like
same
an
time.
addict for everything now.
Oh, my gosh.
Could you imagine if you had saved up and all right, 17 brownies, and then she's like, all right, I guess I have to give you brownies, and you get the whole entire brownie pan.
Well, that's what happens in your dream sequence. You know, and you're
Or it might be a ring.
there's an edible ring in this brownie.
Ring pop.
That was a Little Rascals episode where they're putting all these win a great prize in this cake that they baked.
Oh, that's right.
The old black and white Little Rascals.
That was so racist.
There were some moments, but there were also some really funny bits in there. Some really funny like storylines and struggles and sketches. But yeah, that was I grew a little bit that day. I learned the ways of the world. I became wise.
Wow.
And I eyed everyone shrewdly from, you know, when it says, when all the girls are singing about David and basically like throwing him up in the air and they're like, "Ooh, yay!"
You mean
And-
David and Goliath, David?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Saul, it says, and Saul eyed David from that day forward. That was me. I was eyeing people from that day forward. I'm like, are they gonna take my free brownie? What else they gonna take?
That's when the twinkle in your eye was removed.
Street smarts.
Dude.
Like if a gangster ever asked me to prove, you know, who you been, what hood you from, where you, I'm like, man, second brownie. That's all probably all I have to say. I'm sure the stories will have reached them. Street
Yeah.
cred.
Wow.
Yeah.
Petty credentials.
Boy, that just came back. This is unlocking some deep-seated childhood
This might be
issues. This
some
is like
therapy.
therapy,
Yeah.
but
now
cheaper.
I really want a brownie. So anyways, I don't remember how we met, but we've been good friends ever since.
And our mom will back us up on this. We never argued.
Not in front of them, because then everyone lost.
And we mean everyone. But yeah, it was growing up, those were some good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So send in your questions to pettytalkshow@gmail.com. We'll have the link in the description below. We will answer. It may not be the right answer, but we will say it with conviction, and you will definitely get something out of it. To any question, we will keep it anonymous. Or you can do the work for us and make up your own email to email us to. How about that? That's a lot of work. If someone just makes a fake email account because they wanted to keep it super anonymous, I'll know who it is.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what we get.
Well, it only goes up from here.
How did
How did we meet?
How did we meet? I pray he was joking.
Well, this was good. This is the pilot to season 1.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
Make sure that you click. Oh man, this is the first time I'm having to do this, and so I'm trying to think of all the right. Make sure
The
you.
YouTube mantra.
Okay.
Smash that like, comment button, subscribe,
So-
filter, hashtag no.
Hit that alert bell. There's so many things you have to do. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, alert bell, share with your friends.
1 like equals 1 prayer. 1 subscribe equals 5 miracles.
Wow, that's a deal.
Ugh.
All right, thanks y'all. This is fun.
Y'all have a good night. Petty Talk.